So every other YouTuber is doing it, so I thought I'd pipe in on this Ian Garry situation because this is absolutely insane, and Ian Garry still doesn't see it. Guys, we're going to talk about Ian Garry today. I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's talk about Ian Garry. So if you guys don't know, the situation with Ian Garry and his personal relationship has been all over the place lately. It has been everywhere, and all of a sudden, I want to say it started with Sean Strickland, because I actually, to be honest with you, I don't know who started this, but a book came out that Ian Garry's wife wrote a book on how to be a wag. I didn't know what a wag was. Maybe I'm just stupid, so please forgive me if that's the case, but I didn't know what that was. And apparently, it's a book on how to be a wag, which means how to find young athletes, because his wife is like, if I had to guess, she's twice his age. How to find young athletes and get them before they are a huge star. So that's where it all started, and then everybody started calling him C-U-C-K, right? And Ian Garry kept piping up to it. It's like, oh, you don't know the situation, talking about all this, where he's like, he's clearly butthurt about it, right? But then YouTubers like the MMA Guru, Lucas Tracy, people have been making videos talking about this entire Ian Garry situation. Then Sean Strickland piped in, which obviously gets it so much more attention, and Sean Strickland even DM'd this guy and is calling him a C-U-C-K, right? Because another part of Ian Garry's relationship is he's living with his wife and her ex-husband, and he took the wife's last name. Like, if that's not an issue, I don't know what is, because he clearly doesn't see it. He's laughing at people like us who think that's weird, right? It's totally weird. So people are coming in and making fun of Ian Garry, where it's like, oh, you guys don't know the situation. My wife is the best. And then, okay, put the phone down, Mr. Machado. You know what I mean? Like, they're calling his wife Mr. Machado. So it's absolutely insane to me. Ian Garry, if he wants to be the star that he wants to be, he can't really have this going on. Honestly, it might be a little bit too late, because the internet never really forgets. It's a crazy situation that he's in. And now he's threatening to sue Sean Strickland. And Strickland, of course, is just like, oh yeah, get in line, right? So Strickland doesn't care. I don't know if you could even, like, looking at this from a legal perspective, I don't even know if you can, because she was trying to sue him for defamation. I don't really know how you can go about this, because I guess, here's the thing, she wrote a book about being a wag, and then people call her a wag, and then she's like, oh my god, that's defamation. That's where I'm confused. So I don't know, even looking at it from a legal perspective, if you can go towards anybody for that. But that's making it even worse on Ian Garry, man, because then these fighters have a lot of trash talk to each other. Nobody really does anything real about it. There's a reason why the fans are so upset with Colby Covington for going to the police for Jorge Masvidal. As much as, honestly, I agree with that. He attacked him in a restaurant, okay? We're not here to talk about that, but the point being, the fans never forget that. The fans never forget something like that. They have been on Colby Covington since that day. Every single time you mention Colby Covington, oh, Colby Covington, he called the cops. Oh, Colby Covington, careful, don't call the cops, you know? They're going to do the same thing. If Ian Garry actually pursues a lawsuit, he's going to be looked at like that. And Colby has not been able to shake that off. He hasn't. And Ian Garry, it'll be so much worse, because he's going to be known as a C-U-C-K for the rest of his life in the entire sport, no matter how high it is. And it brings us back to, like, the entire Logan Paul situation. I made a video on another channel where we take a look at, like, things that are trending online. And I said the biggest takeaway from this is your girl is the biggest representation of you. No matter what, your girl is the biggest representation of you. Look what happened to Logan Paul since then. Since everybody find out that his wife has been with the entire internet, right? Everybody, no matter what Logan Paul does now, he's, oh, but Nina, he beat up Dylan Dennis, the guy who started it. He won the fight, but Dylan Dennis still won because everybody's just going to talk about Logan Paul's girlfriend forever. It's the same kind of situation. Ian Garry's wife is the biggest representation of him. And now all people are going to see is, oh, the wife's still sleeping with her ex-husband, and Ian Garry's just sitting there being okay with that. Like, and Ian Garry's not making it any better. He's sitting here and going, oh, well, we'd have a serious talk if I knew you were a wag. If you were actually a wag, like, I don't even know what to say to that, because it's so obvious that this is the case, especially since her ex-husband's still living with you, and there's a kid there apparently too. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's literally CUCK material. Literally. And the reason that I'm spelling that word out is because YouTube's probably not okay with that word. It's absolutely insane to me. So Ian Garry, if he wants to be the star that he is trying to be, if he wants to reach that Conor McGregor level, right? Then he needs to get a hold of this quickly. He needs to abandon that girl, because at least people will say, oh, well, you know what? Ian Garry's young. He's 25, whatever, how old he is. He's 26 or something like that. He woke up. It happens to the best of us, right? We all get captured by one of them. At least he woke up and he went on with it, right? He manned up, but he's not going to do that, and doesn't look like that he's going to do it. He already took her last name. Like, it's a whole crazy situation. And going back to that other video on the other channel that I was talking about, I got actually quite a bit of flack where people are like, oh, well, your woman's the biggest representation of you. It's called having a personality. It's called being individual people. Like, no, your girl literally is the biggest representation of you. How many people in your life do you know that got a girlfriend, they changed, or they're bending to like their everything that they say, right? Their girl is now the biggest representation of him, because you will look at that guy and you will say, huh, what a, like you'll make fun of him. That girl's the biggest representation of him. I guarantee you, if you got a girlfriend right now, if you wifed somebody up, let's say, who has had a past where she sleeps, going back to Logan Paul, she sleeps with everybody out there, right? That is all that you're going to be known for. It's just a harsh reality. No matter how good you are, no matter if Ian Garry comes to be literally the greatest fighter of all time, he dominates the rest of the welterweight division. He goes up to middleweight and is the guy to dethrone whoever's the champion there at that time. He could go down as the greatest in the sport. He could surpass GSP. He's a great fighter. I'm not saying he has GOAT potential, but he's a great fighter that could certainly, it's in the realm of possibility, okay? No matter what, his girl will be the biggest representation of him. He will forever be known as Mr. Machado. He will forever be known as that. The guy who sits in a chair while his wife's with his ex-husband. I'm not wrong. I got a lot of flack on that other video. I am not wrong in the slightest. Your girl is the biggest representation of you. You can apply it to anybody. Started out with Logan Paul. Ian Garry is not literally that famous, but like I said, man, look at Logan Paul. Look at what he is going through. Ignoring the type of person that Logan Paul is. He's successful. He's been in the WWE. He has a lot that would you like from a business perspective, and somebody who's like wants to come up in the YouTube game. I'm not saying as a guy, okay? Get that straight. He has a lot that you would look to him and look up to in that sense. You would want to be like Logan Paul if you are an aspiring creator or someone along those lines, right? But not anymore. He's just that guy who's been played by the slut. Ian Garry he needs to get a handle on it, man. He can't start fighting back to the fans. He can't start doing a Chris Curtis where it's just somebody replies to him on Twitter and he's like, oh, whoa, my wife is perfect. She is not taking advantage of me whatsoever. And oh, man, honey, I'd have a talk with you if that was the case. Like, and he'd have that. Like, he's literally done this, which is crazy to me. Absolutely insane. So if he wants to be a champion, if he wants to go down as the Conor McGregor level star, he could, just for the wrong reasons. Get Dylan Dennis in here. Let's see what he actually digs up. Dana White, sign Dylan Dennis. He wants to fight at 170. Let's see what he can get on Ian Garry. That actually, I'm not even kidding with you. I would really, really like to see it. Ian Garry would put a beating on him, but Dylan Dennis would win the war yet again because of the Twitter warfare that he would bring out. Another thing to mention that I forgot to is I was watching the MMA Guru's video on this, and he came up with an excellent point, by the way. His wife and Ian Garry, or whoever is actually controlling the Twitter or DM messages, is threatening Sean Strickland to sue him with defamation. What about what Ian Garry did to Neil Magny? And this is what the MMA Guru pointed out. Neil Magny literally was making like, I don't know if you want to call it a joke or if he was making like bad trash talk. And he made so many people actually believe that Neil Magny is a child beater. People actually think that now because of Ian Garry and Ian Garry's influence. People legitimately believe that about Neil Magny and potentially ruined his career. For real. You find it everywhere. I don't respect Neil Magny anymore. I don't respect anybody who beats their kids when Neil Magny doesn't beat his kids. That's defamation. That is more defamation than anything that's going on with Ian Garry because people are just pointing out the truth. It's crazy to me what's going on, man. So this is where I'll leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you think about Ian Garry and the entire situation. How far do you think this is going to go? Because right now, Pretty crazy if you ask me. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching the video. On the screen right now, if you'd like to continue watching the Clenbat channel, there'll be 2 videos for you on screen to check out. I will see you either there or in the next video, everybody. Take care.